want to commend you for all the great work that you've been doing. I've been following you on social media, and your conversations are very insightful. So keep up.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So today on Soul Traveller, I have the lovely Dhiren Harchandani. This is the first time we've actually spoken and met face to face, even though it's via Zoom right now. How are you?
Very good.
Thank you for contacting me, because I heard a little bit about your story, and I've said before, actually, I love having men on this show because I think you guys are the ones that encourage other men to be a lot more open and vulnerable, because as us women, we can talk till the cows come home, right? And I really think talking and sharing really helps with the mental well-being, which I think a lot of men struggle with and keep inside. So thank you so much.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
What we're going to talk about is how you've transformed very much so from, a man in the technology industry for 20 years, entrepreneur, successful, worked with many startups. And when I asked you, tell me a little bit about your story, you said something which stood out for me. And that was that your purpose today is to serve and teach everything that you've learned while continuing to reach a higher state of consciousness. Consciousness is the word that really, attracted me there. And living life as an essentialist by focusing on the highest points of value. Now we're going to break that down, okay? Because that's a lot to take in.
Let's unpack it.
So this is my belief. When people make a big transformation in their life, there is a turning point or something that's happened where they're like, hang on a minute, this isn't satisfying me. I've been successful, or this is a road that I no longer want to go down, or they've been forced to make a different road. So what is the turning point in your life that went from an entrepreneur to suddenly talking about consciousness?
So we all go through this moment in life where we feel that something's missing. Where we think that this can't be all there is to life, right? It can't be just about school, career, marriage, business, holidays, raising kids, retirement, all that, right? And, these are all external experiences. I thought to myself, there had to be a deeper meaning to life. So I started asking myself that question at a fairly young age. I grew up in an environment where my family and close friends were spiritually inclined. So spirituality was in my awareness and programmed in me from my formative years. I was enjoying flying around, climbing the corporate ladder as a consultant in the Silicon Valley, followed by starting my entrepreneurial journey. And happy days were ahead. And inevitably, all those external forces that brought me happiness and recognition and fulfillment, while they were all still very much present, I started entering a very profound dark night of the soul moment. Come to think of it, it's very fitting that your magazine or your platform's called Soul Traveller, because I guess you can say that my soul started traveling through these different points toward a deeper awakening, a deeper awareness, and a deeper purpose.
So when you talk of the dark night of the soul, I know what you mean because I've been through it. Can you explain briefly what that is?
The dark night really symbolizes a shadow that covers the soul. So usually it refers to an individual's true essence. My mind, body, and soul was completely misaligned. In the past, my identity was very much my business, my status. When that's lost, then who are you really?
Breaking that ego is it's like getting a coconut and just banging it and banging it. It's really hard.
Absolutely.
And then you've clinged onto that ego as part of your identity, and then you're like, who am I now? Now what do I do? And what's funny during this time? There's a lot of celebrities that sometimes pop up on my Instagram that I do genuinely like, and they're always constantly promoting all kinds of products. They haven't posted anything for a month because they don't know what to post. And I'm thinking, what else is there in your life that you haven't got anything else meaningful to post? So that was really interesting, the changes that so many people are going through, especially those in the public eye. You talk about leading a life of, I can't even say it, essentialism. So what is that? I've never heard of it.
So we're making decisions all the time, right? And if there are 3 upgrades that I can offer you and your listeners, it's these 3 upgrades to your technology will actually change the way you think about how you make decisions. So the first mental model is around the one decision that you can make that eliminates 1,000 other decisions. So for me, I made the decision a few years ago that I would be waking up at 5 in the morning, right? That one decision eliminated 1,000 other decisions for me in terms of how late I stay up, Netflix habits, what time I have dinner, all these other decisions that I would have to make now all of a sudden are eliminated because of that one decision. So the second mental model that I want to share with you is that every time you make a decision and you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. The third and last mental model that I want to share with you, it's called the 90% rule. So when you're making a decision, unless it's a hell yes, then it should be a hell no. So unless that decision meets 90% of your criteria, right, it should be a no.
You have a book coming out. It's your first book, which is great. How long did it take you to write this book?
This book, so it's a book that I've co-authored with some other authors. It took me about 3 months to write.
Yeah, that's great. I've been writing mine for 4 years. I haven't finished it.
It's going to be a masterpiece then. You spend a lot of time.
It's
lazy. Interesting because when you write a book over a long period, you go through a lot of changes and transition. Your perspective changes quite a bit, right? So it's almost like a coming of age.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, do I include COVID in this book now?
Exactly.
Everything's changed. So let me ask you a question. With this book, it's called Daily Dose of Meditation. That's out in July. So, everybody, the whole planet right now, I know a lot of people are feeling anxious. I'm a very positive person, but I have anxiety constantly on and off for the past 3-4 weeks, and I don't like it. I'm not used to it. And I think it's an energetic anxiety from everywhere because people are feeling disconnected, they not have a social contact like before, financially stressful. Now, coming as an entrepreneurial mindset and a spiritual mindset, can you give us some tips or daily dose of motivation?
But here's what I will say. In life, we can stay on the cause side and take ownership of what's happening in our life, or we can stay on the effect side, which means that we have no control. And in the effect side, we remain as bystanders and victims of our reality, right? I would encourage you and everybody really to stay on the cause side, because on that side, you're causing what's happening. You're creating your reality, and by virtue, you can drive change. So I would say the first tip I would say is stay on the cause side. Another tip would be to focus on what you want. Oftentimes we think of the worst case scenario. Lastly, I would say, we have to live in our mind, right, for a very long time. And why not create beautiful art in there? People are very hard on themselves. That radical self-love over time makes a huge difference.
So thank you so much. It was a pleasure to meet you and to have you on the show. And I'm going to try and put my priority right, this essentialism that you're talking about. But I used to get up at 5:30 in the morning for years to do my radio show. So I'm not doing the early mornings. I'm sorry, Darren. That's not my priority. I'll try to do something else.